Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Maverick Mindset Radio Show. I am Adam Williams.
And I'm Ashley Muckenhop.
And this is the radio show for the dreamers and doers. It's for those who are willing to step into the arena.
Some call us the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers.
We don't accept the status quo. We leave the world better than we find it.
Mine's gone. Wait, we approach each day with enthusiasm unknown to mankind. We maintain a rational optimism about the future.
This is the Maverick Mindset Radio Show.
I have not
Brought to you by
memorized the opening.
That was we failed that test.
Yeah,
you know, and it's funny too because I'm the one who showed up 30 seconds before the show started.
I didn't even.
It's going to be one of those days, huh?
It is one of those days.
You know what I'm realizing is we need to rearrange our notes because what show number are we on?
We are 35.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of scrolling to get to the November 20th.
Oh, on our notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you rearrange the tabs on the spreadsheet, but
Yep.
this is a good example of how you build things in a business, and then you gotta
go back.
Then you gotta fix them because you outgrow them. So here we are. I'm excited.
I am too.
I kind of threw this one. I don't want to say I threw this one together, but I just sort of randomly came up with the idea for this show.
Yes. And then you had a title, but then I added to it because you said something yesterday.
You I had a title. You wrote a novel.
I did. I needed to get it all in there.
The title is The Launch.
Mm-hmm. But then I added, because of something you said, I didn't sign up for this. Pushing past the hard to get to success.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be looking for a new co-host. All right, what's your topic? What's your headline that you've written here?
That was it. The topic is the launch, new product, new service, new
Yep.
business. I didn't sign up for this. Pushing past the hard to get to success.
Okay.
And I think that we'll cover every bit of that.
We're talking about launching something new.
Yes.
And this came up because we are in the midst of really a really great launch of Pennywise Tax Strategies.
Yes.
If we're on track for the awards that our law firm has won as far as growth and revenue growth and things like that. And where did it? Wow, I wonder if I took a picture of this slide. So we're in the midst of this launch with this new business, and it's really the fastest we've ever grown anything, which is great. But we were talking about on our last show how I was in Florida recently.
Yep.
And met with a coaching client, and she's launching a new business. So this has really been on my mind. You know what? I didn't take a picture of this slide, but yes, I did. 0.003% of small businesses reach $1 million in annual revenue. 0.003%.
Small.
It's
nothing.
really an insignificant, and we're talking revenue. We're not talking income. We're not talking what you get to spend on your lifestyle and the stuff you want to do. We're talking what comes into the business. $1 million in annual revenue, 0.003% ever reach that number.
Oh.
And we've got one business that has far exceeded that, another business that is on a run rate that far exceeds that.
Yep.
Of those 0.003%, you ready for this? 15% of those reach 10 million. So if you can reach 1 million, your odds of reaching 10 million
Higher.
go way, way up.
Yeah.
Of those who reach 10 million, you ready for this? 50% reach 50 million.
Okay.
So you hear all these statistics about 80% of small businesses fail. Well,
Is that the
here's the
beginning?
secret. Grow your small business bigger and your odds of success actually increase.
Yep.
All right,
But is
shout
it-
out. I want to give a shout out because I stole those statistics from somebody else who gave a presentation. Tim Shermack of
Okay.
Platform Marketing.
All
So that was
right.
the event that Jackie and I have we been in the studio since we were in Florida?
No.
No, I just got
No, we
back
just got
Saturday
back.
night. Yeah. So we were invited to go and speak at it's called a mastermind, but it's really a pretty big seminar for a company called Platform Marketing.
Okay.
They're a Pennywise client, and they do marketing for realtors, and they do a really good job. And one of their, what I think really cool strategies is they only allow one realtor per market. So they've got cities where they've got a wait list of realtors, real estate agents, so that if some real estate agent doesn't renew, they've got somebody else like ready to jump
Got
in.
it.
No realtors, no real estate agents in Erie work with them. But anyway, we were invited to come and speak to their group because Jackie and I were invited to come and speak because they've got a group of a few hundred really successful real estate agents, and about 250 of them were at this event. Well, two things are inevitable in life: death and taxes. We were there to talk about taxes. So as these agents grow their businesses and make a whole bunch more money, they have tax things that they need to worry about. So we were invited to go and speak to them. And Tim, this is the first time I've met Tim in person.
Yep.
Pretty sure we're related, but we have pretty similar like philosophical beliefs when it comes to taxes. But he gave a really good like opening keynote to this event, and those were some of the statistics that he was sharing. And I've looked up similar statistics before, but I stopped at the $1 million number. I was always curious what percentage it reached $1 million in revenue. Knew it was less than 1%. But what was really interesting is when they get to 10 million beyond that, or 50 million beyond that, how much more likely it is that the business scales beyond that. And I thought that was really interesting because we're going to talk about launching a new business or launching a new product or new service in your existing business.
Got it.
So I had been working with a client on launching a new business. We're in the depths of this right now with our current business. And because of who we are and what we do, opportunities come to us all the time for new stuff that we're pretty deliberate about. We say no more than we say yes, which is a whole other episode. But I thought it would be a fun topic to cover today because I've done this enough times now.
Yes.
Right. The law firm, I wouldn't even call that a launch. It just sort of started. Yep. But since that time, we've launched several other things, some successful, some not so successful, or successful in different ways. And we've worked with a whole bunch of clients to do this. So I feel like this is one where it's like, man, I've lived this. And if I spent some more time really thinking through it, I bet there's a system or a recipe to make it go well.
Yeah.
And in fact, there is. We're going to talk about that today.
I'm sure there is.
All right. So you want to get the quote out of the day first?
Yes.
Oh, wait. I went out of order.
Yeah. We're just all over the place I was fine till you almost didn't make it here.
Well, when you blew the intro, I realized I had to carry the entire show. So
you almost blew the show by not being here. I was panicking.
What? Can we? All right. Somebody on Facebook or in a message or an email, someone give us a suggestion for what Ashley should do.
Yes, please.
When I'm late for a show. Like, what should she do for the first? It's only going to be 3 minutes, right? Yeah. It's not going to be that bad.
We hope.
So maybe you could just do the intro really slowly, or like, what is a topic? What is everybody dying to hear from Ashley?
Oh, right.
That if she is in the studio without me,
by myself,
and I'm not interrupting her and talking over her, by herself, maybe it'll just be 3 minutes of Ashley crying.
Maybe. that could very well.
That
might have happened today.
I would start. What's the thing called where, like, if you've got a YouTube channel, but you can have paid subscribers?
That have to.
Yeah, so there's like premium content that you get. Anyway, I'll start one of those subscription things, and people can pay us and suggest things for you to talk about. All right, so, man, we are already blowing your minds every Wednesday at 9, going live at 9:05 on Facebook, Maverick Mindset Radio. Got the episodes up on Spotify and on YouTube and on Apple Podcasts, finally. So if you like what you hear, share the show.
Yes.
And we're starting to see more, like every time I say that, more and more people share the show. And that's how this works, right? Like that's how you grow a network is.
I was doing an interview.
We are a radio show pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
One person tells 3 people who tell 3 people.
Yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, I already kind of feel like I know you. I've been watching the podcast."
All right. So I was thinking about this morning. All right. We can't get through an episode without talking about 75 Hard. So I'm on phase 3, the last phase.
This is hard, isn't it?
It's killing me.
Yeah.
It is. I think it's day 4. Cold showers are colder than they've ever been.
And that's for a length of time too, right?
It's 5
you
minutes.
Can't just.
It's 5 minutes.
Longest 5 minutes of your life, I bet.
Yeah. I listen to music very, very loud. We have a Bluetooth speaker, but. Man, where was I even going with that? Oh, so there's 2 tasks that have never been a part of any prior phase of 75 Hard. So I need to go and look at the calendar, but my guess is I've probably spent 50% of this year on one of the phases of 75 Hard.
Yeah.
Right. fact, I checked this morning. I'm down 20 pounds since last December too.
Nice.
And I bought a, what's the word? Barbell?
I don't
Yeah,
know what
the big
this
one.
means.
We have dumbbells. No, this is
Okay.
bench press.
Okay.
Yeah. I bought a barbell, and yeah, it's good. But it adds 2 new things that I've never had to do in any prior phase, and they're impossible.
Oh, you would yell at me if I said anything was
I know.
impossible.
That's my limiting mindset today.
Yeah.
So I've got to every day for 30 days. And here's the thing with this last phase is if you fail, you blow the whole year. I mean, not really, but you fail.
Oh, this is like you.
So
can't go
you're
back and do
supposed to
this.
end this on the 1-year anniversary of when you started 75 Hard.
Okay.
So I started December 17th. I've got to end December 16th. So, but if I fail, I got to go back to the original 75 Hard, then do phase
Start
1, then do
all
phase 2,
over.
and then coordinate phase 3.
Oh.
So
You're doing this like right around Thanksgiving.
yeah, Thanksgiving will be Thanksgiving. There's some travel. My birthday.
Yeah,
Actually,
yep.
my 42nd birthday. But 2 new things. I've got to talk to a stranger, but not like talk to a stranger, like actually carry on a conversation.
Yes.
So I know an awful lot about 2 of the cashiers at the convenience store by my house. And I've got to do a random act of kindness. And I there's people who know me who don't believe this, but I am a pretty kind
Yeah.
person. Like, do I have a temper? Yes. Do I get frustrated? Yes. Do so many people in this world disappoint me? Often, yes. But I'm a pretty nice guy. Like,
Yes.
I pick up the trash off the ground and hold doors for people, and like my mama raised me well. So I'm trying to do something extra on top of that, and it is challenging. But to go back to people interviewing to work with us are checking in on the podcast. The guy that you talked to yesterday,
Yep.
and then the guy that I interviewed last week while I was out of town, both of them said, because we send them information
Yes.
before we even talk to
Yeah.
them, like watch this video, read these articles. The last 2 candidates have said, I got a couple other people I work with that are looking
Yeah.
for something new, and this looks really exciting.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. We're building something awesome. We've launched something great.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this.
All right.
Or no, quote of the day. Go ahead.
Quote of the day. All right. Every great innovation was once met with doubt and resistance. Stay focused, adapt, and trust the vision that brought you this far. Success begins when persistence meets opportunity.
That's a long quote to go with your long title. Who did you steal that from? Do you know?
There's no author
Okay.
provided by AI.
Okay, got it.
Okay. But it was a good quote. And I chose this quote because I think in the midst of when you're launching something new and all of the things that happen all at once and everything that can or will or does go wrong, or even the things that go right, it's kind of easy, I think, for people, and you'll probably talk about this later, to lose sight of what that original vision was, and why you wanted to create this or launch something new.
Yep.
And if you can get back to why you believed in it to begin with, then you can push past that resistance.
Yeah.
And that's probably where you move into the. You can get lost
You're
in that
pointing at my
percent.
laptop.
I know, but I was your phone. That percentage, that small percentage when businesses start, I think that's where they get lost. Like that's where that.
Well,
falls
yeah,
apart.
there's 2 pieces to this. You have to plan and launch it effectively.
Yes.
But you've also got to stick with it.
Yes.
And it's hard work.
Yeah.
I've been having a lot of conversations with people that are looking for the easy way on things, and that's not how it works.
No.
Like you want it to be easy, great. Enjoy your life where you're miserable, know you're unhappy, and you're unfulfilled. But hey, you got it easy.
Yeah.
I get it. I sometimes slip back into that, but it is hard work. This is a portion of the show where I really want to swear, but I'm not going to. All right, so you got 2 pieces. You got the launch, and then you got the persistence piece of it, which I think really gets left out of this, or a lot of people don't think through it. And we're going to talk about stopping strategies and quitting a little bit later on. But let's start with the beginning. So you want to launch a new business. You want to launch a new product or service in your existing business.
Yes.
Which I'm going to tell you right now. Man, I'm all over the place. If you're launching a new product or service in your existing business, hesitate. Like, really stop and think about it. Because if you haven't hit that $1 million revenue number,
In your original.
yeah,
Okay.
you're creating distractions for yourself. And I bet I would challenge anyone to bring me a business that could not generate $1 million in revenue. Like, especially in Erie, Pennsylvania, people, oh, it's a small town and there's no money here and blah. Bring me a business and I bet I could create you a plan that you will believe in to hit $1 million in revenue.
Yeah.
I bet it exists. And I believe you can reach $1 million in revenue with one offer and one marketing channel and one sales process. We don't need to be on every social media platform. We don't need to run every type of media that there is. We don't need to sell 37 different things. And a lot of businesses fall into this trap.
Like, I'll add this, I'll add this, I'll add this.
Yeah. So I'm a landscaper. I do lawn mowing, right? Mm-hmm. That's what I do. I mow lawns. Well, then one of my customers says, hey, will you clean up these leaves for me? Sure. But I'm now going to need extra equipment. Right. And it's a little bit different skill set. Not that cleaning up leaves is complex, but it's different, and it's frankly probably straining physically a little bit differently. So I got to go buy some rakes and some bags and do that. And then after I clean up the leaves, I got a customer that says, will you clean out my gutters? Well, sure, I'm already here, but I'm going to need a ladder and the trash cans and the gloves and the stuff to do that. And it's like, what if I just got really, really, really good at mowing lawns and just stuck with that? And I think a lot of entrepreneurs tend to chase down those other opportunities or take advantage of it because they're there. It's like somebody's here and they have money and I can help them and I want to take their money. But I would challenge you to not do that. I would challenge you to stick to the thing where you're not, well, I guarantee there's still people out there who need your service who don't even know that you exist. And you've already got the infrastructure in place to do that. I believe you can hit $1 million with one offer and one marketing channel and one sales process. I firmly believe that. And I would challenge anybody to prove me wrong on that. Somebody's going to come up with something.
Something. I'm waiting for it.
But you know what? Bring it on.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Yep.
We're here to challenge your limited mindset.
Yes. That's what we're here for.
All right. So let's talk about starting. Like before we get started, because I think a lot of our listeners are like me, where we jump in. Like it is both feet waist deep.
Would you say build the plane on the way down?
And then we realize what we've jumped into. So there's two preliminary questions, I think, before you create something new or launch something new. And approach them in any order that you want. I tend to start with the question of what? What do I want? So if it's a new business, and we've talked about this on episodes with goal setting, I'm going to talk about how much money do I actually want to make?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't even go through that. They just assume, well, there's going to be enough out there and I'm going to chase it down and I'm going to hustle and grind and
just hope it makes this magical amount of money.
Yeah. I hope that it makes enough.
Yes.
But that was air quotes for all of you that can't see us on camera. Was my intonation correct there? Yeah. So you hope it's going to be enough, but you never decided what enough was or decided what was adequate or decided what the minimum was.
Yeah.
Enough is a tough word when it comes to money, but is it enough to support the life that you want to live? So we got the financial goals, we got the personal goals of how does it support how you want to spend your time, right? You got 168 hours in a week, and I bet you don't want to spend all of them working.
Right.
Maybe you do, which good for you. And then there's the professional goals, or like, what's the impact that you want to have? What's the dent you want to put in the world? And if you start by answering those questions, like you talked about, when things get hard, you can come back. You can go back and you can remind yourself of,
this is why I started.
I remember when we launched our employee retention credit business. Right before we launched, like days before, as we were building this, and Jackie was building the spreadsheets, and I was working on the marketing and sales piece of it. Do you know what my motivation was?
No.
It was going to buy me the vacation home.
Oh gosh.
That was it.
Yeah.
And I told somebody that. And it was a vendor that we were going to work with. And we were driving. It was a crazy time. My dad had a stroke. We had spent about 40 days in Florida, but we also left our RV in Myrtle Beach for too long. So they were going to like evict us.
I remember that.
And it was like oh crap, we got to get from Florida to Myrtle Beach to get the RV out of there.
Yes.
And so I'm driving, and I got this big trailer, and cell service isn't that great. And this vendor said, hey, let's meet today. And I said, I can't, I'm driving. And he goes, bro, I thought you wanted the vacation house. It's like, all right, you're right. I found a gas station with Wi-Fi, and I'm going to pull in there and we'll do this call, and everybody can hop on Zoom. And it's a really good reminder of like, I wanted that thing.
Yeah.
I still want that thing.
Yeah.
I bought an airplane instead.
You did.
You know why?
And a race car came after that.
I can't decide.
Just
Here's the thing. I think I need multiple vacation homes because I can't pick one place that I'm that committed to.
Yeah.
Like I need the variety,
Yeah,
and the
in
airplane.
different places.
The airplane provides that.
and then you could just Airbnb.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
go.
We'll get there. But anyway, that was my motivation when the thing
Yes.
started, right?
Yes.
So new business, I think you look at all three: personal, professional, financial goals. Now
Yes.
let's assume you've got a business that is at least somewhat fulfilling all three of those categories.
Currently.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to launch a new product or a new service to bolt on or add on top of that, right?
Why do you think people do that? Why? If something's going well?
Because I need a bigger airplane.
Is that the thing? Is it financially driven? Is it that like, okay, all right, now I'm bored. I made this successful. I need to do something else. Is that entrepreneurial mind that says, can't stop here. I want more, so I need to do more.
Yeah. There's something about that. I mean, there's going to be something missing. There's some piece that's unfulfilled.
Yeah.
Actually, all right, this is a really great question. When I first got into this and we first started having a successful business, it was about the stuff. Mm-hmm. My house is awesome.
Yep.
Cars are pretty cool. Airplane, race car, like the stuff I have
Yeah.
is pretty great. But at some point you reach a level where it's like, I got enough stuff. I haven't ridden my snowmobile in a year and a half.
Yeah.
If anybody's looking for a snowmobile, Ski-Doo Mach-Z. It's 1,000 cc. It's like the Camaro SS of snowmobiles. But then it becomes, and you're gonna realize this as soon as I say it. Like, stuff is still cool, money's still cool, that lifestyle is still cool. But now for me, it's about people.
Yeah.
And growing a team of people that just want to win and dominate and kick
It's a new challenge.
butt.
Yeah.
It's a lot more fulfilling.
Yeah.
Stuff is great. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's I've shed a lot of tears in my Porsche, right? It's not stuff is great, but it's not the long game. It's not the
Yeah.
end game, right?
Yep.
Even right now, like there's have we talked about on the show the tires that I found on my property?
Yes.
So somebody dumped tires over this
Yep.
cliff, and this organization came out. We cleaned out like 80 tires, and it's a volunteer organization. I don't
Yep.
think they're super well funded. So I just said, well, I'll pay the disposal fee. Like it's cleaning up the watershed, which is
Right.
really important. But it's also like I look at it every day.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's on my property. If it isn't, it's across the creek.
Yeah.
I can see it, right? I'll just cover the disposal fee, right? Like no big deal. Well, then he came out recently, found 70 more tires that we got to get rid of.
Jeez.
Which, if anybody's looking to do some manual labor, we still have to get them up the cliff and onto a truck. And like
It's not a small cliff.
I
either.
will happily. I know. I want to rent a helicopter to get them. I will happily pay the tire disposal fee.
Yep.
And in fact, I'm gonna make a donation to this organization because these people are so passionate about
Yeah.
what they're doing, and I think it's super cool. And to be able to do that and help those people with that stuff is really great.
Fulfilling.
Yeah, it's really fulfilling.
Yep.
It feels really good.
Making
So-
a difference.
Yeah, so we start with those questions: personal, professional, financial goals. If you've already got a business and you want to bolt something on, a new product, a new service, a new offer, I think typically why we do that is we're looking for the next financial number without throwing off the personal goals and the professional goals.
Right.
Like, how can I, and this is one of the things that we're going to talk about. I think you need to get really specific of if you're going to launch a new thing, tell me the number.
Yeah.
Like how much? When we launched the tax credit business, we wanted to do $500,000 in revenue.
Yeah.
That was the number. Like that was what I wanted to bolt on without, for that amount of money, I didn't want to work a whole lot more. I knew the impact was going to come. Like people are really happy with that.
Yeah.
I've never seen people so happy to pay fees.
I know, right? Yes.
Yeah, although we're finding new ways to do that now.
Yeah.
But I, just wanted to add $500,000 of revenue to the top line.
How does somebody come up with that number? How do you decide this is what it needs to be?
You just decide.
You just pick it.
Yeah.
Okay.
People are going to talk about SMART goals. It's got to be specific and measurable and attainable and realistic and time bound. No, just pick a number. It's got to mean something.
Yeah.
$500,000 for me would have bought the vacation house.
Got it. Okay.
That was it. Now we ended up turning that into a $10 million business, which
Yeah.
was way cooler.
$500,000.
But that's
$10
it. Pick the
million.
number. And I here's the thing: is there's no wrong answer.
Okay.
Unless you pick a number that's too small and you're gonna
Now
when
you're
you lose sight of the
limiting yourself,
vision,
yeah.
you're limiting yourself, and it's not going to be worth it.
Yeah.
That is the biggest mistake I see with people setting goals, is they set goals that are not worth it. My goal is to be in the best shape of my life on my 42nd birthday. Is it 42?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Because I'm
You're
a couple months
ahead, yeah.
older than you.
Yeah. I want to be in the best shape of my life on my 42nd birthday.
Yep.
And I'm on pace to be there. And it's really meaningful to me. Like we got the giant mirrors in the gym in our house, and like I see the progress every single day, and it's like, yeah,
Williams home gym is growing.
it is. It's we got like I don't know what you would call it, like a parallel bar. It's a thing that Penny can do like flips and hang from.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you've seen it.
I have.
It's wild. All right. So start with the question of what do you want? Like get
Okay.
really specific with it. And in fact, I think like this is next level Jedi stuff, is if you get really specific with it, actually think, like do the visualization exercise. I can describe my vacation house to you. Except here's the thing. I've never been in it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it exists. I'm sure it does. But like, I know what I want the fireplace to look like.
Mm-hmm.
I know what I want the living room to look like. I know what I want the garage to look like. I know what I want the property to look like. It's got to be waterfront. Everything's got to be waterfront in my life. So like, I know what it feels like to sit in that living room on that couch with the fire burning, reading a book. I can picture that.
I can hear it.
It's
The
real.
crackling.
Exactly. It's real to me. It exists.
Yep.
Now I just got to go and do the work to make it happen. And again, I think people are even afraid to start with that part of like allowing themselves to dream and picture what they actually want
Because
and what
they
their
say
life is
the
going to be
word
like.
you said earlier, which was it's impossible.
Well, that's the cool thing. Oh man, I always come back to this when I go to Disney. I'm not a huge fan of Disney World. I'm never
Is it
gonna.
all the people?
There's a lot. Oh my gosh, slow walkers.
Yeah.
I'm calling you out.
Move.
You know, it's funny. I was just going to say, we're not one of those families that wears the coordinated outfits to Disney. But now that I think about it, if everybody in my family wore a black shirt that just in white letters said move,
Yeah, they all.
happiest place on earth.
Yes.
But the first time we went to Disney, first or second, I've only been there 3 or 4 times, but we didn't go to the parks on this trip.
Yep.
We were just at this convention center. But the first time we went there, I bought a picture, and it's Walt Disney like standing in a big, like, looks like a parking lot or a field, and there's like this sort of unclear, semi-transparent picture of the Walt Disney Castle, and it's taking his picture from behind.
Yeah.
The castle's in front of him. And it's one of those like core values motivational posters with
Yes.
the eagles soaring, and it says vision. It's kind of fun to do the impossible. Or I got another one in my basement of my house. I don't know that this is actually a Batman quote, but it's attributed to Batman. It's a little image, and it's got like the bat signal on it, and it says everything is impossible until somebody does it.
Yeah.
And that's we haven't talked about it on this show, but like everything, this is a thinking into results type thing. Like if you can picture it, you can actually achieve it. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Every single thing that exists in this world physically first existed in somebody's mind. Every single thing.
It's true.
We use the example of the chair. Somebody is sitting on a rock and they say, gosh, this is cold and
Yeah.
hard and a little lumpy.
Like something different.
How can I do something? Well, they built the first chair.
Yep.
So I think this is a muscle you got to build. You got to
Yeah.
practice it, and you can start small. But the first, again, going back to the stuff, I used to do this a lot before I bought my first like really, really nice car. I knew what the steering wheel felt like. I knew what it sounded like when I hit the unlock button going into my garage, and the cold leather on my back, and the way it sounded when I started it up. Like I was living that.
Yep.
Because we're getting way off track here, but what happens is you train your subconscious to get used to that. So yeah, the first log cabin vacation home I ever looked at was like $250,000, and I remember talking to a coach at the time, and I'm like, man, that's a lot of money, and they're like, no, it isn't.
Right.
It is not. And it's fun now. Like the median
Yeah.
home price in America is
Yeah.
closer to $400,000. Like that's a below average house in this country. But I'm going, man, that's a lot of money. No, it's not. Okay. So rather than talking myself out of it and saying it's a lot of money, now my subconscious is used to me. Like my subconscious doesn't know the difference of me physically being there or just imagining being there.
Right.
And what happens is it then allows me to see the opportunities to make it happen. So this is when you get your new car and you now become aware of this car and then you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
I've seen more Range Rovers in the last 3 months than I
Yeah.
even knew existed on this planet. But I drive one now, so I recognize them,
Yep.
right? I went to a store this weekend and it's a Range Rover Velar. Like, it's not a Sport, it's not the big brand, like it's not the Evoque, it's not a common model.
Okay.
And the store that I went to has a Range Rover Velar cop car, like toy for kids.
Oh,
Like, of all the cars
did
to
you
pick,
get it?
no,
Just-
I should have.
you should have.
I was with Penny and I was trying not to buy her any toys, so I probably couldn't buy myself toys. And that's we've talked
She
about
would have
that.
called you out on that for
And then
sure.
and then idiot me took her to Barnes and Noble, where remember she
no.
had the meltdown over
Yes,
the
the
giraffe.
giraffe.
Yeah, we had part 2 of that over.
Was the draft still there? Was it
no,
a new?
but there was
new...
so much. There's so much
Especially
good
right
stuff.
now, you can't take a child into Barnes and Noble.
And she never takes her. She has money, but she never takes her wallet anywhere.
she's
and
smart.
She
She knows. She's like, hey.
She doesn't. She's not smart because she knows I'm not going to lend it to her, and then she doesn't understand how interest works. So it's like, yeah, the thing is $20, and you're going to pay me back 22, and she's like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, well, it does, but all right. So we talk about the what. Like, what do you really want? So if
Yep.
you're launching the new product, get specific on the number. How much do you actually want to make? Because you'll find that it's going to be easier to build the plan to get there. That's part 1.
Okay.
Then here's the next question. Man, we spent a lot of time on that,
Yep.
but that was good. The next question is who? Who are you going to sell this thing to?
Okay.
And again, I don't think you can get too specific on this.
Okay.
So we're going to pick a business you want to start.
I pick a business I
Yeah.
want to start. Let's say it was. Oh gosh. Like a
Landscaping, gutter
no,
cleaning,
I don't-
restaurant,
a bakery.
yoga studio, a bakery.
Yes.
What are you going to sell at your bakery? Doesn't matter.
Healthy. You know what? I just went to. Here's a great one. There's not a place, a bakery around that sells a lot of the gluten free or the.
Well, it's hard to
vegan
bake without
desserts.
gluten. Isn't it? Yeah, there's a Sunday, it's called.
I don't know about Sunday.
Yeah. What's her name? I'm drawing a blank. She spoke at homecoming.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's
okay.
opening Sauce.
Yes,
That new
okay,
restaurant.
yes.
But yeah, there's a vegan bakery near me. Shout out
Yes.
to the person whose name I'm
Yeah.
forgetting. She launches things.
Yes.
All right.
yeah,
So
bakery,
you've got
yes.
you've got a vegan gluten free bakery.
Yeah, healthy options for sweets.
Okay. So what type of customer are you going to have in your bakery?
One that wants to eat healthy. Probably one that's doing the
Male or
yoga.
female?
Female.
How old?
Probably 30 to 60.
Big range. Married?
Yeah.
Kids?
Yeah.
Do their kids eat the healthy stuff too?
They want them to. Yes.
Yeah. All right. 30 to 60.
Yes.
What'd you say about married?
Yeah.
Married, kids?
Yeah.
How many kids?
Minimum of 3.
How many? 3.
3.
3 kids.
Yeah.
All right. 30 to 60-year-old female, 3 kids. Does she own a house?
Her husband does.
What?
Kidding.
They own a house together, you weirdo. You know what? You know what's funny though is there is a 30 to 60-year-old woman with 3 children out there listening to this, going, "My husband owns a house, and I want to eat at this vegan bakery."
Yeah, I know.
And that's what. Here's what I'm saying is.
know.
All right. How about this? What is this woman's job? What does she do?
Well, nothing. That's why she wants
Okay.
a bakery.
Well, don't say nothing. She's stay-at-home mom.
Yes. And
She's a full-time
bored.
mom.
She's feeling the itch to do something more. Kids are older.
So
A
she
little bit
needs
older.
something to do when the kids are at school
Yes,
or at their
yes,
activities.
yeah.
Okay. Tell me, like, what days of the week is she going to come in?
Well, Monday through Friday. She doesn't want to work on the weekend.
Wait, we're talking about customers.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the owner.
No,
How do I get on
you're
that?
describing yourself.
No, I'm not. I don't want to own a bakery. No. Okay, she's gonna.
Who's going to shop there? Who's going to shop at your bakery? Who's your customer?
Yeah.
This is the question.
This is the
So we
woman
start
that's
with what?
not working.
So you're going to have a bakery where you say, I want to make this amount of money, and I want to work this many hours, and I want to impact the community by serving gluten-free, vegan,
Yes.
baked goods.
They're actually really
Who's
good.
going to buy this stuff?
So
That's the next question.
The person that's stay-at-home person.
Okay.
That
Stay-at-home person, mom. You said it's
I
a
know.
woman.
Yes. So the stay-at-home mom, kids are in school and they're out running their errands, or the older woman too that's in her 60s, whatever. They're out during the day, so they're coming there during the day.
Okay, but I'm not talking about they. I'm talking about one person.
Okay.
I want you to. We're describing this person.
Okay.
All right. How old is she?
45.
45. How many kids?
3.
How old are they?
in school. So now 6 to 15.
And is she coming in for a meal or a snack?
snack.
Or just a snack? And
Hungry.
is she going to eat
Hungry
it?
after yoga.
Is she going to eat it in the bakery, or is she going to take it in her car and drive home with it?
It's her time away, so she's eating in the bakery.
Okay. And what's her name?
Cheryl.
Cheryl. Here's the point, is we just helped you create a marketing plan.
Yeah.
Because you're going to go and talk to every Cheryl out there
Yes.
and say, hey, when the kids are at school and you get out of your yoga class and you're looking for that treat while your
Yeah.
husband's away at work and you don't want to go back and do the stuff that you do around the house, or it's not time to pick up the kids yet, and you just need a place to stop in
And read your
listen
novel.
read your novel and listen to some calming music,
Eat a
Cheryl,
cupcake.
come into the bakery.
Yes. Yes.
Do you think a whole bunch of people hearing that just resonated with it?
Yes.
And do you think there's a whole bunch of people who said, not for me?
Sure.
Okay. But that's what I'm saying, is we now know exactly who's going to come into your bakery. Now, we're going to market to Cheryl. We're going to create a message to her. We're going to find the places where she already goes, the places where she goes or the things that she listens to. Cheryl, all right, Joel, does Cheryl listen to this radio station? Absolutely not.
No.
This is a bunch of old white dudes on this radio station. So we're not going to advertise. Am I right?
Okay, so I just resonated with Dennis. Dennis is like, hey, I'm retired. I want a gluten cupcake, and I want to listen to
there
this
you go.
radio show.
So we do this in Pennywise. We market towards high income, self-employed, small business owner
Yes.
entrepreneurs.
Yes.
But we get some people who have high income W-2 jobs outside
Yes.
of that. And we'll take them as clients.
Yeah.
They're not our first choice. They're
Yeah.
not the people that we can help the most, but we can still help them, and
Yes.
we'll bring them in. So you're going to market towards Cheryl,
Mm-hmm.
but you're going to take every Becky and Karen and Chad
Sure am.
that resonates with that message. So we've got the what, we know our goal, and now we have the who. And I think if you start with that, everything else becomes a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Because we can build a plan around that. All right, so I want to talk about planning a little bit. But first
That was actually very, because I think people miss that step of like sitting there and actually envisioning the person that they would want to see walking in their business or that they could sell to. Because then that next part of who you're marketing to, you know then where they're hanging out, what they're doing to hit like that. I feel like that's a really important step.
How do you think most businesses think about their potential client?
I think they miss that.
Name the one criteria that most businesses have for a customer.
They're breathing. They don't think
Do they have
about
enough
it.
money?
Yeah.
Who's your
Can
client?
they afford this?
Who's your client?
Right.
Anybody with money. No.
Yeah.
And
that's what people say. Yes. Yep.
That's one of the reasons why your business is not successful. When I talk about having one marketing channel and one offer and one sales process, if you're only trying to get Cheryl as a customer, you got one marketing channel and one offer and one sales process to get her in the door. That's all it's going to take, right? You can get to every Cheryl out there by providing snacks at all the PTO meetings at all the schools in Erie.
Oh, yeah.
And they say, this is great. Where'd you get this from? Well, here's a stack of cards and a coupon for a free gluten-free vegan disgusting muffin.
This would be so good. I think I want to open a bakery now.
I'm literally looking at one across the street as I say this, which has, I mean, this stuff's delicious, but not compatible with my 75 hard diet right
And
now.
I don't think Cheryl's walking in there. I'm just saying. They're not marketing
All
to
right,
Cheryl over there.
I got to talk to a stranger today. I'm going to walk in.
There you go.
After the show, I'm going to walk in and say, Cheryl. And if anybody looks, we are about to engage in a
I
conversation.
don't even know where Cheryl came from. I don't even know a Cheryl. That's the problem.
You know what's going to happen? You just put it out in the universe. In the next 48 hours,
I will die.
you're going to meet a Cheryl.
I swear. It came out so aggressively, like I actually knew a Cheryl.
Yeah. But that's the whole point, is you've got no fear of getting the wrong answer.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea, is people are, no, well, I'm going to cater to men and women and single and married and 17 to 68. And it's like, yeah, you're making your life more difficult.
Yeah.
Pick the one. Now, you may find that your definition of Cheryl needs to tweak a little bit, or
Right.
maybe you need Cheryl and Becky or whatever.
Becky.
But that's the whole point, is start with that one and make your life easier.
Yeah.
And it's like, don't start your business by taking out a couple of TV ads,
Yep.
right? Like that's because you're not targeting it enough to your market. That's one of the beautiful things of internet marketing is you can tailor it so much.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I'm okay with companies like Google and Facebook having all of my information, because that means I get really good ads. Like
Yep.
it's stuff I actually want.
Yep.
Although every now and then they get it wrong. We're not going to talk about that right now. But okay. So we know what we want. We know who we're actually going to sell the thing to. It is, man, we are flying through
I
this show.
know.
Maverick Mindset Radio. We're talking about launching a new business, a new product, or a new service. So here's the next part. I tend to jump in with both feet, right? Like I see the first step and I'm already on it. That's a problem. Many other people have the problem on the other end of the spectrum where they need to map out every single one of the next 97 steps
Yeah.
before they even get started.
Yes.
And they're gonna, I always a great analogy to talk about riding a bike. Option one is hop on the bike and start pedaling. Well, if I did that and the chain wasn't mounted properly and the tires are flat and there's no seat on the bike, which is sometimes what it feels like running a business, oops, right? But on the flip side, I could go out and watch every video and read every book and study every bike ever made and never put my feet on the pedals, and I'm literally not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
So there's a sweet spot somewhere in between there of like how much work, how much preparation and planning do you do versus when do you just go? When do
Right.
you implement?
Right.
And I think this is what separates successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people reach the point sooner where they say it's go time.
Yeah.
Like buckle up.
Yeah.
That's the moment, right?
Yep.
So I think if you can get sort of a vague picture of what the end goal looks like,
Yep.
but map out maybe your first 5 steps. And this is our goal setting process for our rocks and our 90-day projects in the business is we know that things aren't going to go exactly according to plan.
Yes.
Now, the benefit of planning is not to have the plan in your hand. The benefit of planning is not to have this perfect step-by-step roadmap.
Right.
Because you probably got some things wrong or things are going to happen or there were things you didn't know. Like it's not going to be 100% accurate. Also, that is the loudest truck ever manufactured outside
is.
the studio right now.
It really is.
See, things aren't going exactly as we planned. So I totally lost track there.
Plan. We don't have to have the full plan.
You don't have to have the full plan, but so you're going to get it wrong. That's right. So the value of planning is not in having the plan. The value of planning is having gone through the planning exercise. I think it was an Eisenhower quote that said, "I've always found the value of planning is not the plan, but in the planning process." That should have been that could have been our quote of the day.
Yep.
But so I think that's what the point I'm trying to make is plan out your first 5 steps, and you're going to get an early indication of how things are going.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, there's so many benefits to this. So first 5 steps, you got a clear plan. You know exactly what you need to do.
Yes.
You're also going to build some momentum. And we talk, I mean, this is it. This is the vision and momentum that we talk
Yes.
about all the time. Get a clear picture and start the ball rolling
Yes.
downhill in that direction. And eventually it can't be stopped.
Right.
Yeah.
Just takes off.
Yeah. So you build some momentum, but you also learn a little bit and you can say, all right, I'm now 5 steps in. Let's take a breath and reevaluate and see what has to happen next. And so I think this is another area where people fail is they haven't mapped out any steps, or they've only mapped out one, or they're still trying to map out the entire thing before they get going, as opposed to saying, and we talked about this yesterday with the power list, like the today list. What do I have to get done now? What are my next
Yes.
5 moves in order to accomplish this goal?
Yes.
So I had this problem with getting my pilot's license. I started this over a year ago, and I still don't have my license. And part of the problem was I never created a plan. It was just, well, I'm going to study and I'm going to fly and eventually I'm going to get my license.
There was no, by this time I'm doing this and this.
And that's how most people start their business.
Yeah,
They
they
say,
lay it all out.
I'm going to open the doors. I'm going to get a newspaper article written about me and the money's going to come rolling in.
Yeah.
And it's not.
Yep.
And it's not going to be enough money because you never decided what was going to be enough money and you never decided who you're going to help. And you literally didn't go through the planning exercise or set that goal. And I had this same thing with the pilot's license. And here's the other thing that happened. This is a great analogy. Is in January, when we took the plane in to have some things adjusted and make sure that it was all flying properly, the FAA issued what's called an airworthiness directive and said, you need to inspect your V-band clamps. I don't know what they are. Well, mine failed the inspection, and so did everybody else's, because my plane was built in 1978,
So of
and
course
they're all ancient
yeah.
and corroded. Well, to get replacement V-band clamps, it has to be through a manufacturer that's approved by the Federal Aviation Administration. I could go to Harbor Freight and buy these things for $2. Instead, they're on back order until May of 2025. So my plane hits a hangar, goes into a hangar in January of 2024, and they're telling me in May of 2025 we'll have the parts that we need to make your plane airworthy again.
No.
Are you seeing the business analogy of, wow, I didn't expect it to go like that because I've owned this plane for 2 months.
Now what?
And I did the thing that I'm telling you not to do, is I gave up. I was like, fine, I'll sit and wait and I'll get back to this later.
Yep.
And then, as often happens in business, somebody called and said, hey, it's August and we have the parts now. Like, miracle. So I had to get back on track with it.
Yeah.
Well, now I have a plan. My first step was to take another practice test, because I had to pass 2 practice tests in order to take the actual written exam.
Okay.
So step 1, take a practice test until I pass. Step 2, once I pass and get that endorsement, schedule the written exam. Step 3, cram for 2 weeks until that exam to make sure that I pass it. Step 4, once I pass it, fly 3 to 4 times per week with my instructor to build the hours, so that next step, I've lost track. What am I on? 4, 5, 6, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Next step is book my check ride with the designated pilot, the DPE, the designated pilot examiner, I think it's called. Now I got my plan. And I know if I fly to 3 to 4 times a week and I do that for, I don't know, just a couple of weeks probably, because
Yeah.
I got enough hours built now, I know that I can pass this exam, and now I have a plan.
And you're aware that things can come up in that plan, right? Like, it's not going to be smooth sailing, right? Like, you know.
Or smooth flying. There'll be turbulence.
Oh,
Yes.
God.
Yes. Thank you.
And there's your dad joke for today.
There it is. There it is.
But it's like, it's having that awareness that you could have this plan, but you're gonna pivot through that plan at times.
Yeah. But here's the other part, is I know exactly what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I know whether or not I've done enough to accomplish the goal.
Yeah.
If I was taking, this is kind of funny. I said I was going to take a practice test every single day until I passed the second one. Mm-hmm. It only took me 1 day. So that was good. Where I have been studying. So I said that I was going to do that. And now I got to move on to the next thing. Now I've scheduled my exam and it's 2 weeks out and I got 2 weeks of cramming. Yep. Well, I know for the next 2 weeks, I'm specific on the cramming. I got to spend an hour a day on flashcards. I've been through 876 flashcards.
Oh,
Flashcards, practice exams, watching the videos, reading the regulations. Like, I'm going to spend an hour a day until the exam. Now, here's the thing. It's a pretty good guarantee that I'm going to pass this written exam, because the companies that help you study for this thing require you to get an 80% on the practice exam twice. You only need 70% on the real exam. Well, I just scored an 87 and I'm about to spend 2 more weeks studying, so I'm probably going to pass this thing.
Odds are in your favor.
So, yeah. But you know why the odds are in my favor?
Because you planned.
Because I'm doing the work.
Yeah.
I'm doing the work. I'm very specific about what I have to do to accomplish the goal. Now, let's land the plane for everybody here. That's how it works in your business. Step by step, map out what you need to do, and then go and do it.
Do the work.
And we all too often have a tendency to go out and be really, really busy. But are you actually doing the thing that you need to do? Have you found where Cheryl is spending her time so that you can get your marketing message in front of her? Have you written that marketing message? Have you tested that marketing message with the Cheryls that you know to see if it's actually resonating before you go and spend a whole bunch of money on marketing? Are you doing that stuff? Or here's what I bet you're doing. You're baking. You're perfecting the recipe.
Yes.
Because you can't have vegan gluten-free muffins be any more disgusting than they already are. They've got to be perfect.
They've got to be.
And you're hiding out in that.
Yeah.
And this is a stopping strategy for a lot of people, is they hide out in the stuff that they're confident in, and the stuff where nobody's going to know how bad they are at what they're doing, which is a story that you're telling yourself. And instead of going out and doing what you actually need to do, you're hiding out somewhere else.
Yep. Oh, so many people do that.
Yeah.
Joel was just like, ugh, I get it now.
But look how busy I am.
Yep.
I can't grow the business because I've got all this other stuff to do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a whole bunch of stuff that actually isn't moving you any closer to your goals.
Yep.
And you're going to stand on the sidelines or give up early on because you're not actually executing on what you need to do. Again, let's bring it back to 75 hard. I know every single day what I have to do. It's really, really hard. But I know that if I do this every day for the next 26 days or whatever I got left, the outcome is I'm going to be in the best mental and physical shape of my life at 42 years old. And I'll tell you one thing, it's a lot harder at 42 than it was at 39.
I bet. Yep. Do you think that's the thing is people get mixed up? So they know the outcome. They're so excited about that outcome when they start. But then when they get into the hard work of it, all of a sudden that outcome doesn't become as important.
Oh,
like
man. We've talked about this. Every single thing you want takes longer, takes more time, takes more money, creates more frustration than you imagined it would.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it worth it?
Yeah.
All right. You got two scenarios. You jump into a launch, a project, a something, and it's harder than you thought it was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And most people quit.
Yes.
And they won't admit that they quit, but most people quit. Like the vast majority of people. In fact, I would say it's the 99.7% of businesses that don't meet a million in revenue. It's probably lower than that number. There are plenty of people that have businesses that are smaller than that are perfectly happy, perfectly fulfilled, and that's fine. But I'd be willing to bet most of them are longing for more. Yeah. Right? So most people at that point would quit. Well, let's look at the alternative. What if I actually went out and did every single thing I thought I needed to do for the thing, like genuinely, honestly, self-reflecting and saying, I did everything I believed I needed to do to make this happen. Does it matter what the outcome is? Yep. No, because I won, regardless of what the outcome is. I did everything I said I needed to do. What matters is, what did I leave on the table? And we don't spend enough time thinking about that.
Yeah.
If you leave something on the table, you should be disappointed in yourself because you didn't give it all that you could, and you hid out in something else, and you allowed yourself to be busy, and you allowed yourself to be distracted instead of doing the thing that you know you need to do.
Yeah.
That's most people.
Yeah.
I don't care what the outcome is. If you've legitimately, genuinely given it your all, right? This just happened with Royce the other day. We got the barbell, we got the bench. I made him do a bench press, and it was just the bar. He's in 8th grade. It's pretty weak, and he really struggled with it. Yeah. He's like, that's all I could do. And I know in my head that that's not true. Yes. I know he could put that thing up and down 5 times, no problem, if he just told himself, I'm going to do this.
Yes.
And I think that's true for most people, is they say, oh, it was really hard, and I gave it my all. But deep down, they know they didn't, because it's hard, and they would rather their lives be easy and unfulfilled versus by making it hard and doing the hard things. That's actually where the fulfillment comes from.
Yeah.
If I poured my heart and soul into a business and it didn't make any money and we had to file bankruptcy, but I did everything I believed I had to do. And this happens a lot with really high growth startups. They go and raise a whole bunch of money. Some of them do it ineffectively and spend money on ping pong tables and stupid stuff. But some of them, especially these smaller companies that aren't as public, you see these founders putting their heart and soul into this business day in and day out. And they're close to the 168 hours a week working on this business.
Yeah.
Whether the business takes off or they get the next round of investment or they get the IPO or whether they ever make money, those people are so much more fulfilled than anybody who had it easy, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah.
You want to scratch off a lottery ticket and make $1 million? Great. It's not going to be fulfilling. No. And the money's actually not going to stick around for a number of reasons versus the people who actually put the work in. And I think that's the difference is you get a pretty somewhat clear picture of where you want to be. You map out your first 5 steps and you execute.
Yes.
And then you stop and reevaluate and you figure out your next 5 steps and you execute.
And it never stops.
And do not tell me it can't be done until you've crossed everything off of that list.
Yes.
Oh man, I am not even opening the door. I'm running out the studio through the window. I believe in you.